Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I disregarded Dr. Phil's advice because I didn't feel like Fred was scamming me.
2 years after appearing on the show,
I know for a fact that Mark wasn't Fred.
Lois meets Fred face to face.
This is the man in these pictures. Was this you right here?
Yes,
You remember taking this picture?
I do.
How do you explain this?
And
In total, I have sent him over $1,300,000.
Jane is back.
You sold your house.
My world was gone. Not only that, but my pocketbook.
With a message.
You need a wake-up call.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Thank you much. Yesterday, I sat down with Lois, who is a past guest in the first ever 3-part series we aired. When I met Lois 2 years ago, she was talking to 3 different men online: the General, Paul Shaw, and Fred Adler, and admitted to me she was being scammed. She just said, yes, I am. Unfortunately, after leaving Los Angeles, Lois disregarded my advice to cut contact and continued talking to Fred Adler. Just 2 weeks ago, she called my team distraught, stating she helped Fred get from Africa to Jamaica by boat, but he was experiencing a lot of problems. As it turns out, you can't get from Africa to Jamaica by boat in one day, as Fred claimed. We sent someone to the grocery store in Jamaica where Fred claims he is located near, but didn't have any luck finding him. Here's what happened.
Fred found out if he could go to Jamaica, he could get access to his money by getting a debit card. I sent him $300 so he could get on a boat from Africa to Jamaica.
Currently, Fred is stuck in Jamaica because of gangsters at the border. But Jamaica is an island.
One time he went to the credit union and the taxi dropped him off. Gangsters got a hold of him, tied him up and beat him with an iron rod and held him there for about 3 days. Around Valentine's Day, and he was ambushed. The gangsters took $100,000 from him. Now he's living in Kingston, Jamaica, near a grocery store on the street.
Dr. Phil, I'm here to save Fred's life. I need to get him home from Jamaica. It's been 2 years trying to get him back to the States, and I need your help.
And why have you not gone to Jamaica?
Not for what he's
if-
been through. I wouldn't want to go to Jamaica.
Now, Candace, this has to be very frustrating to you, and you're having the same conversations with her I'm having, right?
Oh, absolutely. But the last time we were on the show, Fred was stuck in New York because he couldn't find a Bank of America.
And there are 103 Bank of Americas in New York.
I don't know how you couldn't find one.
Now, you say that Fred traveled from Africa to Jamaica. He went by boat.
Yes.
It took him all day. Now, the fastest passenger ship in the world is out of Tasmania, and it goes 58.1 knots, or 66.8 miles an hour. And if he took that, it would take days to get there. Now, you say he got on a boat,
I do.
and he got there in a day.
I think so. It didn't take
Well,
him
you
long to
can't
get there.
change your story whenever you're faced with facts. The facts are you said he got there in a day with a $300 ticket on a boat.
Right.
There is not a boat on planet Earth that will get somebody from Africa to Jamaica in a day. So how do you explain that?
I don't know what to tell you.
Lois says that arriving in Jamaica last year, Fred Adler has been attacked and critically injured and is now homeless in Kingston. So what happened when I sent a staffer there to find Fred?
Dr. Phil, I'm in Kingston, Jamaica. The only information that Fred has provided us as to his whereabouts is that he is living in the streets near the Ava Wholesale Limited grocery store. Let's go inside to see if anyone has seen or heard of Fred. Have you seen this man?
No, darling.
And I wanted to know if you've seen this man. He goes by the name of Fred. Dr. Phil, we spoke with many people today in the downtown Kingston area. No one has seen or even heard of Fred.
What do you say to that?
I don't know what to tell you.
Because you
City.
can't make sense out of nonsense. He's just not there. Well, this picture he sent you from Jamaica, I'd like to take a look at this. He's destitute down there. I reckon the reason they didn't find him on the streets is this picture's in a golf cart, and these are golf clubs.
I don't know.
Now, Fred, he doesn't have money to eat, but he's got green fees to be playing golf and renting a golf cart. How is that possible, Lois? Now, come on. At some point, you've got to stop saying, I don't know, all I want to do is get him home from Jamaica. He ain't in Jamaica. We've identified this picture. This is a golf cart in Charlotte, North Carolina at Pine Island Golf Club. I said someone did get on a plane and is here today, but who is it I'm talking about? Well, 2 years ago, I virtually introduced Lois to the real man in the photos of Fred Adler. But Lois said, well, no, that's not Fred. And I said, well, yes, it is. Somebody from Nigeria has stolen this man's pictures. That's why she's never talked to him on FaceTime or Zoom. And she is deluding herself that, well, he doesn't have that kind of phone. And in 2.5 years, with all the money she sent him, he's never been able to get one. Well, will she feel differently were she to meet this man in person? Well, we're going to find out, because he cared enough to get on a plane and fly all the way across the United States to help this woman. Mark, come on out. Mark, have a seat. Thank you so much. You know, Mark, there are a lot of different kinds of people in this world. There are good ones, and then there are neutral ones, and then there are scumbags. And you are one of the good ones, my friend, to get on an airplane, fly all the way out here to help this woman find her way to reality here. And I would just like to make it clear before you ever speak a word that Mark is a victim of identity theft here. His photos were used without his permission. This is the man in these pictures. Do you agree with that?
That's you.
I'm sorry?
That's you.
Absolutely.
Was this you right here?
Yes,
You remember taking this picture?
I do.
Where was this picture taken?
That was at Pine Island Country Club in Charlotte at a golf tournament.
That's in a golf cart, right?
Yes, sir.
And these are your clubs behind you here that we circled up in the picture back there. So do you believe that that's him?
Looks like.
This picture, you're kind of silhouetted there, but you're showing a beautiful sky and sunset behind you. Is that you?
It is.
And where's that being taken?
That's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay. And this picture?
That's me and I think that's my house.
He was on Skype before. He's here now. He's not in Jamaica. Did you get on a boat going 324 miles an hour and go from Africa to Jamaica in a day?
I did not.
And you've not been talking to her for 2.5 years?
No, sir.
How do you explain this, Lois?
It's very a letdown to me.
You have pictures of him in different shirts. Are those the shirts?
Yes, sir.
He still owns the shirts. He's brought the shirts. Do you want to inspect them closely?
Last time I sat down with Dr. Phil, he introduced me to a man named Mark by Skype. I know for a fact that Mark wasn't Fred. For over 2 years, I have been talking and texting with Fred. I've seen recent photos of Fred, so I will know Fred when I see him for the first time, face to face.
You have pictures of him in different shirts, and those are all your shirts, right?
Yes.
Well, let's bring out some items that Mark brought with him to LA to ensure Lois doesn't leave here with any doubts again. Because I'm trying to go to any lengths possible so this is clear.
Yes.
Are those the shirts?
Yes, sir.
See the shirts?
Yes.
Those are the same shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to inspect them closely?
No, I see from here.
They're in the pictures. He still owns the shirts. He's brought the shirts. And see, the Fred you're talking to, he doesn't ever show up in person. He can't show you the shirts. He can't talk to you because he doesn't exist. He's stolen his identity. The reason he doesn't ever talk to you on FaceTime is because he can't.
That'll be the worst thing a person can have happen to him.
It is terrible. And that's the reason I'm working so hard for it to stop happening to you.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for 2 years.
Of course it has. How does it feel to you to have your identity stolen and used to scam somebody? That's got to be terrible.
You feel helpless, really, and they've been doing it for at least 2 years, you know, that I know of now.
You know, Fred has a son, right?
Yes, he said he had a son in Australia.
Right. And in fact, you have a lovely daughter, correct?
Yes, sir.
And she's here with you? Yeah. That's actually his daughter. This is Kendall, and you're 23, right?
I am. I just turned 23 in February.
Okay. And can you confirm that your dad has never been to Jamaica, Africa, not speaking to Lois?
No, he rarely goes anywhere but home.
So he's a homebody.
Oh, yeah.
What else can we tell you?
I don't think there's much you can tell me.
You know, we're always really, really careful to not blame victims here. I don't want to blame you here. I do want you to hold yourself responsible. I want you to say, look, I'm responsible for what I do now. I'm responsible for where I go from here. Because you left here before with overwhelming evidence about the general and Paul and Fred, and you told me what you, I guess, thought I wanted to hear, and left here and took right back up talking to Fred, saying that I gave you somebody that looked like him, but he didn't have a lazy eye, and your guy seemed to have a lazy eye, and
I'm really sorry that happened to you. I don't know.
And you disregarded what I said to you, and at some point you have to ask yourself, why is it that I'm ignoring factual evidence? What is it about me that I won't listen to logic? I won't listen to factual evidence. And what do I need to do?
I don't know. It's the fact that Fred is such a sweet person. I talked to him on the phone. That's why I fell for Fred. You know, I felt like I don't know. I seen the pictures. I thought he was a clean-cut guy, nice looking. I was wanting a Christian man in my life.
These guys are pros. They find out what you want to hear, and they feed into that. And he is clean-cut looking. I mean, really.
Yes, I know he is.
And he matches everything that these people find out that you're looking for.
Right.
But you've got to become discerning. You've got to become, I don't want you to become paranoid, but I want you to become discerning. And if logic tells you if in 2.5 years somebody can't find their way into the same room with you, something the hell is wrong.
I don't know, maybe you can find me someone.
Well, I'm not through with you yet. Lois is not alone in her roller coaster ride of emotions. We're going to talk to another past guest who says she disregarded my advice regarding online love, and I've been told she wants to tell me something very specific. We'll see what that is when we come back.
I thought I was done with Jonathan, but unfortunately, I wasn't. I disregarded Dr. Phil's advice because I was so in love with Jonathan, I couldn't believe it was a lie.
It was business as usual with Jonathan, and he continued to need money.
We've been talking to past guests who, well, frankly, just disregarded my advice regarding online love. Now, earlier this season, I was introduced to my next guest, Jane, who was in an online relationship for 1.5 years. Now, when I met her, she had put her house on the market and planned to move to Miami to be with her fiance. Now, the problem, her friends and family thought he was just a total scam.
The relationship Jane has with Jonathan is a hot mess. In the 1.5 years, they've never met face to face.
You've told her straight up, this doesn't smell right, you're getting scammed here.
And we all have.
When I look into Jonathan's heart, I see a very kind person, very affectionate.
I look at those lips and all I want to do is just kiss them.
Jonathan started his dream job about 11 months ago on a construction site. The problem is he is in debt from previous projects. Once Jonathan's debt is paid in full, he will acquire $10.3 million for earnings that he has done on previous jobs. He cannot leave the construction site until his debts are paid. He is being held hostage. After knowing Jonathan for 2 weeks, I started sending him money. I have sent him almost $1 million. Jonathan convinced me to sell my house so we could be together.
So he convinced you to sell your house.
Yes, he did.
What's happened to all this money that you sent him?
That's a good question. I really
Well,
don't know
I think
the
it
answer.
is. Jane says it's hard to believe someone could just make up an identity. But her Aunt Patty says she thinks that's exactly what's going on.
Hands down, my niece Jane, she is being scammed. I have no idea how much Jane has sent this man. I have no idea.
You're at $966,000.
Guess I'm a gambler.
Yeah.
I have no words.
Jonathan won't tell Jane his current location, but she does know where he was renting a home at the time they met. So what happened when we went to go find him?
So I'm here in Miami, Florida. We were told that a gentleman by the name of Jonathan used to live here. Have you ever seen this man before? No. Have you ever seen this guy before?
I have not.
So we've combed the entire neighborhood. Nobody recognizes him. Nobody knows him. Does he look familiar at all?
Not at all.
The man in the photos is not in Miami. He's not being held hostage at a construction site because he's here today. And his photos have been used without his consent. He is not part of this scam whatsoever. He is a victim of this scam. Come on out. Ed, thank you so much. Have you been talking to Jane for 1.5 years?
No.
You've never talked to Jane, right?
This is the first time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
And this is not Jonathan. His name is Ed.
It's really hard to look at you.
I'm sorry for what you're going through.
Do you have any doubt whatsoever that you are being scammed?
There's no doubt. I completely understand, yes, I have been scammed.
Well, you just saw Jane, just as Lois did, decisively acknowledge she was scammed. So what happened after the taping? And did she get her house back?
After the taping, I was backstage with Ed, and we took a photo together, and I sent a copy of it to Jonathan. I said, "Hi, honey. Don't we look great together?" I thought I was done with Jonathan, But unfortunately, I wasn't. Jonathan started apologizing and admitting that he lied to me.
I'll never lie to you again.
And I wanted to believe him. He was going to get his $10.3 million, and I thought we were going to live happily ever after.
Yes, he was a liar, but I thought he loved me.
I disregarded Dr. Phil's advice because I was so in love with Jonathan, I couldn't believe it was a lie.
I was dumbfounded. I feel like everything that Dr. Phil told Jane went in one ear and right out the other.
I was so determined for Jonathan and I to be together that I packed my bags and I went to Miami.
It was business as usual with Jonathan, and he continued to need money.
Once I got to Miami, I sent an additional $150,000 to Jonathan.
There was always an excuse, a setback after setback.
I came to my senses when I looked at my bank account and I was broke. It finally dawned on me that I was being scammed, that I had lost everything. No house, no savings, nothing. In total, I have calculated that I have sent him over $1,300,000. Dr. Phil was right. I did finally wake up. I saw the reality of it all. I feel very humiliated. I do want to thank Dr. Phil for doing his best, for every attempt he made to let me see the light. I would like to say to Dr. Phil, I am so sorry that I did not listen to your advice the first time I heard it.
Well, Jane, I'm glad you're back, and I feel like I've let you down.
That's not the case. You did everything that you were able to. I was the one who was too headstrong. I was in love. And I did not want to wake up to the fact that that wasn't a reality. Losing him was, my world was gone. Not only that, but my pocketbook.
You sold your house.
I did. I am penniless. I was retired. I have to go back to work.
Being scammed out of $1.3 million and probably more, I just don't want to see anybody go through that. I will probably struggle for years to come over what occurred to me. You know, I hear myself saying, had I just listened to Dr. Phil, things could have been so different. What gives me comfort in all of this is if I can help one other person not go through this devastation, it will be worth it.
You know, I asked both of y'all, is there any doubt? Have I got it? Do you see it? You sold your house.
I did.
You precious woman, you sold your house.
I am penniless. I was retired. I have to go back to work.
How long was it before you talked to him again?
Oh, I talked to him right after the show.
Oh, hell.
And that was the problem, because he was able to sway me. I didn't hear you until I saw it aired on TV. That second day, I fell apart. I was like, where the heck was I when you were talking to me? And I believed it on stage, but the minute we walked off, let me tell you, he is going to call you, you're going to talk to him, and you're going to want to believe anything and everything he says to you because you think you love him. And you don't want to lose that. He's not worth it because he's not real.
Well, when we said 1.3 million, I thought Kendall was going to fall out of her chair. What did you think when you heard that, Kendall?
I mean, I've never even seen money like that, so I can't even imagine giving that much money away.
Rebecca, during the taping, you said Jane leaned over to you and started making excuses as to why Jonathan was lying. What did she say to you?
You would be up here showing, and she'd lean over, yeah, but he didn't see that, whatever it was, because I was like, and I could not believe that she wasn't listening to you. She wasn't hearing you, but going through the motions of what she was supposed to say or do.
Well, that's what worries me about Lois, because it's like you're given scientific fact and you deflect and say, well, his debit card's lost. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to talk about that because I can't explain that it's a blatant lie and a factual impossibility, which tells me, like you're saying,
Don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me that. He needs money. I need to get out of here so I can go send him some.
Common sense has to come into play at some point. You need a wake-up call.
I can't believe she's saying this stuff. I wish that had happened to you.
Yeah, I wish.
Where were you?
Had I listened to him, I would have had money from the house. I would have had money. I could have bought another home. Not lived as comfortably, but it's unfortunate. Some of us have to learn the hard way. I did not want to give up that opportunity of being in love.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's take a break. Then I want to talk about why some people fall for this and others don't. Now, while Jane had some advice for Lois, I have some advice for both of these women, and it's going to require asking some hard questions of themselves. We'll be right back. We're back with Jane and Lois, who both disregarded not so much my advice as my findings. We show that documents are false, people aren't where they say they are, and Jane had a wake-up call, and she's here trying to help Lois. And I've asked somebody to join us here, Coach Mike Baer. He's founder of Cast Centers here in West Hollywood, and Mike has written a book called One Decision. And I've invited Mike to offer some advice to Lois, not about dating, but about taking back her power and taking control of her life.
I have a question. Lois, would you rather meet a real person and go through everything that it takes in a relationship, or would you rather be in kind of a fantasy relationship?
I would rather meet a real person. I thought I was going to meet him.
Okay. So the one decision we would make, and don't take this the wrong way, and I know you're emotional, you are a terrible online dater. You're a Christian woman. You know where Christian men are? Church, right? Real people.
I go to church.
But Dr. Phil, I think the challenge that we're going to have, and that I see with a lot of people who have been scammed, is how do they have closure? You know, what steps do they need to take to have that closure so that they can let go and not end up back and start lying to us as we work together? And
well, I'm so glad you bring that up, because listen, there comes a point where victims actually become volunteers. You can be victimized, and it gets to the point, if you just keep repeating and repeating and repeating, you're actually offering yourself up to be exploited. And that's what he says, you're not good at this. At what point are you offering yourself up as a sacrificial lamb? And some people would rather live in a fantasy fairy tale relationship than have to get dressed, go out to dinner, have the back and forth, share time, share space, share money, do all the things that you have to do in a real relationship. They would rather live in a fantasy fairy tale relationship than a real one. That's why you asked that question,
and that's
right?
why I ask the question. And I mean, do you think that?
No, I'm not that way. I want somebody. I am so lonely. I can't stand it. I have strict beliefs the way I believe.
Sure.
What I want in a man.
And don't give up on those. I'm not asking you to compromise just to get a
I don't need a man
warm.
that drinks or smokes. I don't want one of those.
Yeah.
I want a clean guy.
Well, the day I met Robin, she said, what'd you say?
I said, do you drink alcohol? And he said, oh, actually, I think I'm allergic to alcohol. I said, wow, I think I love you. Yes.
It's okay to have standards. For Jane, I'd like to add an internationally recognized love coach, author, and dating expert at findaqualityman.com. She teaches women over 50 how to feel confident and empowered while dating. And joining us from Ohio is Lisa Copeland. And I want to focus on Jane for a minute because I think it's so important that women over 50 recognize that there is a dating life. There is something to really look forward to. What do you have to say to Jane?
Well, when I work with women, they come from all ages of 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they really can find great guys. Truthfully, it takes not only dating strategies, but more importantly, you need the mindset shifts. And that's what's happened with both women is they were very lonely, and these scammers prey on that. And when you have the mindset that you are an amazing, amazing woman, and that you have so much to offer, and that you know who you want, based on more than like, I want a really cute guy, or I want a guy that has a certain job or a certain religion, you need a man who shares your values.
That's such great advice when people are re-entering this at a different stage of their life. That's important advice.
I think it's also really important to understand your ultimate goal doesn't have to be marriage at this age. It can be a companion. It can be just a guy friend that you hang out with. But the main thing is you really, really want to come to a place of loving you.
Well, I love what you're saying about that. And I hope you'll talk with Jane about this. You seem to be really ready for a lot of what Lisa has to say. So Lisa, please do that for us, because I think that you got a great candidate right here in Jane. She's ready and deserving.
I do.
Okay. And Mike, I really think, Lois has been saying this has been a really roller coaster for her, and I don't know that she's ready for a relationship at this point until she finds herself. And, the number one relationship in life is the one you have with yourself. And I really want to support her and get her at peace with herself. And I want you to help her through a coach to really get herself back into the stride of her life, because she's got so much to live and so much to give. Can you help support her through that?
We can absolutely get you a coach at Cass Centers. CEO and founder, I'll be overseeing what goes on. The commitment we need from you to begin is we have to get rid of your online relationships. So we're gonna help you get closure with the current person you're talking to, and we're gonna help you refocus your life, because right now your emotions are gonna be all over the place. So we'll hit a reset button.
Lois, there's life after all of this. Got it? My next guest is a special Dr. Phil sweepstakes winner who says her favorite Dr. Phil episodes are update episodes. Well, she should be in hog heaven today. We'll find out after the break.
Hi, this is Lisa. I'm here in the makeup chair getting ready to meet Dr. Phil and Robin. When I won the contest, I was just shocked and so excited. And it's been wonderful being here in LA.
Robin and I launched an exclusive Dr. Phil Facebook fan page called Dr. Phil Fanatics, where superfans could connect online and gain access to Dr. Phil content first before anybody else. We wanted our viewers to feel part of a larger community and interact about everything from episodes to their daily lives.
At the beginning of this season, we announced the Dr. Phil and Robin's biggest fan sweepstakes, where one lucky fan, and that's with a PH, and guest would win a trip to Los Angeles for a meet and greet with us. A few months ago, we introduced the winner on the Fanatics page, and she's here today. Here's a look at their first-class journey so far.
Hey, Fanatics, I think you know me and Robin.
Hi, guess what? We have some exciting news for you.
We have a big winner, and the winner is
Lisa K.
Lisa K from Georgia. We can't wait for you to come see us.
We're in the car and we're on our way to the airport. This morning, we arrived at the airport early, got our flight tickets, and we were on our way to LA. We're ready to go. First class. Thanks so much. When we arrived in LA, a driver took us to our hotel. We are with our chauffeur. Hello. At our hotel, we were greeted with balloons. Oh my. Oh, this is nice. It's enormous. Our room had snacks and goodie bags. Yeah. Next, we were picked up and I got my hair done at the salon. It's awesome. Good color, good cut. Then we went back to our hotel and got ready for dinner. Dinner was awesome and we had a delicious meal. Dr. Phil and Robin, what a day this has been, and we can't wait to see you.
All right. Well, joining us today in the audience is our sweepstakes winner, Lisa, and her sister, Kim. Y'all been watching since season 1?
Yes.
Well,
right from the start.
I'm flattered and impressed, so that's great. So how's your trip been so far?
It's been beyond even what I thought it was going to be. I mean, just coming to LA and coming to the show to meet y'all was a wow.
We're not done with Lisa and Kim after the taping. We'll be chatting privately for a special meet and greet, and that content will be exclusively posted on the Fanatics page. But before we go, we heard you wanted to do 2 specific things while in LA. One was visit Harry Potter World at Universal Studios and eat French dip sandwiches at Philippe the Original.
We have your tickets to Universal in this folder. We also booked a celebrity bus tour and have special dinners planned for you the rest of your stay. So we also will post about the remainder of your trip in the Fanatics page because our viewers will love to see what you're up to. So here's your tickets. Here's your tickets.
Thank you so much.
Have fun.
All right, I would like to thank all of my guests today, including Lisa Copeland, founder of findaqualityman.com, and my friend, life coach Mike Baer. For information about today's episode, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on all of my social media platforms, and don't forget to join our Fanatics Facebook page, because maybe next year you could win a trip to LA and be sitting front row meeting Robin and me, just like Lisa and Kim. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks, where I provide tools and techniques to spot a con artist and build a resilient child or navigate difficult relationships. You can find it right there. And check out Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. Whether you're looking for a secret to keeping your head up or the neuroscience secret of feeling good, Robin covers it all. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks. We will see you next time, guys. Thanks so much.